I've said this before, but I feel like there's a thin line between being power social and just being obsessed with somebody, like a one-sided obsession. You know what I mean? Today we're gonna be reacting to a video about how a Japanese idol tracked down their missing fan.
POV, you get arrested and your favorite idol shows up to the police station to bail you out. I mean, this all sounds
That sounds crazy because if I'm going based on like, imagine you get arrested and like your Oshi, your favorite VTuber, is your lifeline or shows up or whatever, try to bail you out. I would be so fucking cooked because Kenji is my Oshi, I guess technically he's my favorite VTuber. And if I was in a situation where I got arrested and I had to call Kenji to fucking bail me out or whatever, I'm honestly, I'm fucked because one, he's probably not even gonna pick up the call. I'm not gonna hold you. And two, if he does, he's probably gonna laugh in my face and tell me good luck and then react to me getting arrested on his stream. There's no way I can trust Kenji in that situation. I'd be so cooked, dude.
a level of ridiculous, but this is how things unfolded for one man in Japan. This right here is 20-year-old Takahashi Nanase. Takahashi identifies as a race queen or racing idol in Japan. Pretty much that is a pit girl or model who dresses in sexy clothing and plays a combo role of being eye candy for fans, but also providing moral support for race car drivers.
I didn't know Japan had like a big race car culture like that where they had idols and stuff. That's interesting. Idols are so weird to me because I'm not sure if they're, sometimes they do music and sometimes they do entertainment, but sometimes they're just like, you know, booth babes with at the risk of sounding misogynistic. That's not what I mean. Like I said, I'm not really up to par with Japan culture when it comes to that type of thing. But idols seems like it could be such a generic thing. Like I never would have guessed there was idols for racing. Holy shit.
Takahashi has a core fan club consisting of 7 male fans who are referred
But hey, I guess there's fans and for everything, right?
to as the 7 otakus. These 7 otakus, ranging from age 46 to age 68, spend considerable—
You know what? That's kind of wholesome. I fuck with that. You know what I'm saying? You're never too old to like the things you like. I don't give a fuck. Like for me, I love video games and I don't care how old I get. I feel like I'm always gonna play video games. I'm always gonna get excited for video games. Even when there's times where I feel like maybe my interest is waning, I like it always comes back. For example, like recently, you know, we've had all the releases, you know, the Summer's Game Fest, Xbox Showcase, and all that stuff. I found myself getting so excited for the trailers and events like that. And it's a feeling that's been with me ever since E3 was a thing. And I just don't see that going away. I don't care what anybody says.
money on this race queen and literally go to all of her events. They literally go as far as making matching t-shirts with Takahashi's face printed on them and develop the photos taken at her different events, and they show them to each other at cafes.
That's adorable, bro. I know some people would probably want to make fun of that shit, but I think that's kind of cool.
Now, this is where the story takes a very interesting turn. These 7 were so familiar with Takahashi that one of the members, who was a man in his 50s named A, was supposed to show up on a radio show with his Oshi as the official fan representative. But on the morning of, A-san—
That outfit's kind of fire. Hold on, wait a minute. And I mean that in like a non-creepy way. I'm just saying the shit looks cool, man. Shit.
was nowhere to be found. Takahashi kept trying to call him and send messages through line, but she couldn't get in contact with him. This was actually concerning because A-san wasn't the type of person that would act like this. However, she did recall the night before seeing him drinking to the point of throwing up. This small detail made Takahashi concerned because she knew that A-san had a heart condition, lived alone, and had no family.
You know, people want to shit on the power social thing all the time, but like, I feel like the power social thing can be wholesome. It can be like not such a terrible thing when it's done in the right way. I feel like I've said this before, but I feel like there's a thin line between being power social and just being obsessed with somebody, like a one-sided obsession. You know what I mean? And in this case, so far, it seems like it's the good kind of power social.
She spiraled to the point where she was thinking this dude kicked the bucket. So like a scene straight out of Persona, Homegirl assembled the rest of the 7 otakus to solve this mystery. She made each person share fragmented info so she could find this man. One person shared A-san's car model info, another person knew the nearest train station from A-san's house, and Takahashi had the ultimate trump card info because she knew A-san's postal code based on all the gifts she got from him.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is super wholesome. If you can find a group of friends that love the shit that you love, like this type of thing, to the point where you guys if something happened to somebody, you can, kind of piece together information. Like that's cool. You don't only get so many real friends in your lifetime. Don't let people who say shit about the things you like get to you or make you feel down or whatever. Like I know this is kind of like, I don't know, off topic, but this is such a nice story so far.
through Amazon wishlist. From there, the whole group opened Google Street View to try to find Asan's car model based on all the info they put together. Then miraculously, one of them found the exact car model and they thought, this must be it.
At the same time, that's kind of scary. Like they were able to kind of like look that kind of information. You know what I mean? It's nice that they went out of the way to try to find somebody and use technology for something good, but it's still worrisome. I'm not gonna lie.
They got up and made their way over to Asan's house. Okay, from here, Takahashi and one of the 7 otakus go on a voyage all the way to Kanakawa. Mind you, Kanakawa is a 2-hour trip one way via public transportation, so clearly Takahashi dropped everything to find this one.
Yeah, the fact that she's doing all this for like her fans is like, I don't know, this is next level crazy. Like there's not many celebrities or content creators or whoever you want to say that would go this far for some like one of their fans or something like this.
Fan. This trip was clearly worth it though, because they were able to find Asan's house, which was located in an old apartment building. They go to the landlord who lives on the first floor and ask him to open the door to Asan's apartment. Well, this is where things kind of got complicated.
Yeah, because there's no way the landlord is gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna let some strangers into somebody's apartment. That could be like legal trouble, I would imagine.
Because what really was Takahashi's and Asan's relationship? It's not like they were family or even work colleagues.
Exactly.
They were simply just an idol and a fan. The landlord finally gave in after Takahashi showed a bunch of past pictures she took with Asan at past events, and they go to Asan's apartment, and as the landlord is opening the door, Takahashi noticed that the exhaust fan of the apartment was running.
I hope this doesn't end in like a shitty way because this whole story has been like super cool so far. I hope the dude's all right.
That was concerning for a couple of reasons. This meant that Asan came back because the ventilation fan was on, but the fact that nobody got in contact with him meant that there was a good possibility that he collapsed. At this point, the fan that came with Takahashi started to spiral. What should I do? We were such good friends. I don't have any other friends. Takahashi literally had to put her hands on this fan and tell him, get your ish together, boy. Without any hesitation, the race queen swings the door open, and the first view was straight out of a horror film. Everything was a horrible mess, and things started to tumble out, and there was even tons of bugs just scurrying about. She then proceeds to look for Asan, but he was nowhere in his
Wait, did he have like the Asmongold apartment, bro? Damn, that's crazy. That shit sucks. I don't know how people fucking live like that.
apartment.
Like, I can't even focus if my bed's not made in my room, like that. I don't know, maybe I'm just like obsessed or some shit, but I can't focus when my bed isn't made in my room. Like every morning when I wake up, I have to make my bed. It just, I don't know, I have to.
Finally, she walks over to the bathroom, which its door was completely shut. She reaches for the door, and to her complete surprise, the door wouldn't budge at all. It was at this moment where Takahashi was internally freaking out. However,
Wait, did they call the police at any point? Now that I'm thinking about it, why didn't she call the police? That's strange.
when she managed to open the door, it was just more luggage being spilled out, and thankfully, Asan was nowhere to be found. Thank goodness they didn't find it collapsed in the bathroom, but the search is now back to square one. This is where most people would check out, but not with this young woman. She treks another 2 hours back to Tokyo and goes to Shinjuku. A fan that was at the same event with Asan the night before told her that he parted ways with him at Shinjuku. The determined girl then proceeds to go to all the Shinjuku hospitals with emergency rooms and places that treat critically ill patients. However, Asan was nowhere to be found. As a last-ditch effort, Takahashi makes her way to the Shinjuku police station. At the
See, she goes to the police station now after going through all that traveling and all that work. I don't know. Like, I get that that's your fan and, and all that stuff. You guys are close. But personally, if someone that I'm that close to goes missing, the first thing I'm doing is going to the police station.
as she explains the situation, the police officers hit her with a very robotic response. You can't file a missing person report unless you're a family member or someone close to that person. Now, it was time for Takahashi to
I mean, maybe over there is true. I wonder if that's true for like the US. I feel like if you go to a police station, at least in the US, and you tell like, hey, my friend is missing, they're gonna have to take that serious. They're gonna follow up with the family or whatever. You know what I mean?
Crash out. Mind you, this girl went through a lot in the past 24 or so hours. She was climbing over piles of trash, running around the greater Tokyo area for hours, and there was a good chance one of her closest fans are dead. He might have died alone somewhere. Are you just gonna leave him to die like that? This is when the police officers realized something and hit her with the chotomate. What felt like an eternity, the police officer dragged out Asan from the back of the station. The comedy of all this was that Homeboy was wearing a graphic tee that had Takashi's face all over it, with her name printed in huge letters. Bro, just imagine all this unfolding and Asan hits them with one of those Konosuba thumbs up emotes. That would be pure cinema. Right when Takashi made eye contact with Asan, she started to burst into tears.
Oh wait, he was just hanging out at the police station? What the hell?
They were finally able to piece things together after Asan fully recounted what happened the night before. After he got drunk at the bar event, he was chilling by himself at Shinjuku Station. This is when he suddenly got aggressively approached by a drunk man and they got into a
Low key, I would be pissed if I was spent 4 hours going back and forth looking for this person, going through his dirty ass apartment, and then meanwhile he was like in the police station where I was originally at to begin with. Fuck that.
scuffle. Asan actually ends up injuring the man and gets taken to jail. Takashi then swaps stories and shares the lengths she went to find him, and Asan was absolutely stunned. I don't think there's anyone else who would go such lengths. There aren't many people in their 50s who would search for you so diligently, so I was really happy. He continues to say, I realized
Like I said, I can't imagine many celebrities doing this, or even like on a smaller level content creators or idols doing this type of shit. That's like, I don't know, I guess maybe it's just a different type of culture.
that even if I get tired of Nanase as an idol in the future, I'll have no choice but to support her for the rest of my life. Some days later, Takashi rents out a live music venue, and during the performance, Takashi points at Asan in the audience and sings, "No matter where I am, I'll find you." Asan breaks down crying and
I mean, that shit would make me swell up in tears too if I was in that
goes on to
situation.
buy
Man.
100 checkies of her that day. After this news went public, there was a mix of reactions. One Japanese person says, if they do something like this, I'll stand them till the day I die.
You would have to at that point. You know what I mean? Like, holy shit.
Another Japanese person requested this whole thing gets turned into a movie. On the Western side of things, one user said, I am unsure if that is sweet or disturbing.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think it's more on the sweet side, more of an innocent thing. Because they said they were like they're super close fans. You know what I mean? So it's more of a, I don't know if friend is the right word, friendship, because I don't know that type of relationship is more of a fan, but they're just close fans. So it's more sweet than anything. It's not like they use the information for anything negative, you know? But like I said, it is kind of disturbing that you can just look people up on the internet and track them down, and you don't even need any type of like crazy technology to do that.
Probably both. Takashi admits that she is less aware of danger than other people, but shares she goes to these lengths because
Yeah, I never thought about that. That shit could have been super dangerous too, because he just went with her and then what, the other fan, right? That could have been bad now that I think about it.
her parents divorced when she was young and she lived with her mom. So she always looked up to older men. She's also very close to her fans and loves to both meet and talk with them. But what are y'all thoughts on this Yakuza side mission? Do you think Takashi is kind of venturing down a path of reverse parasocialism that she cannot return from? Or is she a real one for moving mountains to find her one fan?
I don't know much about him, only met about her and her relationship. You know, all I know is based on this video, but I don't know. I think she just seems like, you can say it's like reverse parasocialism, which I feel like it is in a sense, but it seems like they're just more closer acquaintances than anything. It's not like it's just been one-sided. For example, it's not like she was a VTuber or something and she never met her fans, and it's just based on an interaction based on, you know, her chat and her being close to them and then doing that. That would be a little bit different if that makes sense. But there's more, she's hung out with these people in person. She's seen them at events multiple times. They've supported her for a long, it seems like a good amount of time, you know? So I don't know. I think this is more sweet and disturbing than anything. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video. I will leave a link to the original video if you want to check it out and support their channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one.